So what I want to talk about is respect. Now, you can say it in any language. Okay? I don't care. It's respect. Now, what I'll tell you, which has been really such a humbling experience and such an incredible pleasure for me, is that the book has just been disseminated throughout the world. So I get emails from people all over the world, right? From Africa, from Australia, from Germany, from Singapore, because this resonates with people. People really get this, right? And get the importance of respect. And by the way, I really get that this is the kind of thing that most of us probably learned about when we were like 3 or 4. But unfortunately, it's not really getting applied in today's society very well. That's one of my favorite stories because it's one of those ones you can't make up. The AOL survey that I did, I asked people to talk about stories of respect and disrespect in their workplace. This woman writes to me and she says, "I'm a nurse. I work on this floor. One of my fellow nurses went into labor during her shift. Our supervisor wrote her up as an unexcused absence." I have too many of those kinds of stories. They're just remarkable. Okay, so this idea of respect resonates with people. I really get it. One of my favorite quotes, "I'm not concerned with your liking or disliking me. All I ask is that you respect me as a human being." Great Jackie Robinson. I have yet to meet really anybody who says, "I don't care about being respected. That's really not important to me." And so one of the things that I really looked at was, why is it that respect is so important? And I kind of go back in time and understand this. So from actually an evolutionary perspective, respect is associated with strength and protection. Okay? So being respected keeps you as part of the in-group. Members of the tribe, right, who are respected survive. So you can imagine being in some sort of a culture, some sort of a tribe, and the more you're respected, right, the more support you're going to get from people. I'll talk about this in a minute, right? It's good to be the king. If not, it's good to be a friend of the king's, right? So what happens when we come to the issue of disrespect? Disrespected individuals are considered less important and they're more expendable. You get the idea, I'm disrespected, I feel like I'm getting walked on. People who are respected don't get walked on. So there's this real thing, when I feel like I'm being disrespected, right? And if any of you have had adolescent children, right, that disrespect, you know how like the hair on the nape of your neck goes up kind of thing, right? By the way, I'm not a big Facebook kind of guy, but like one of the biggest things that can happen is you get defriended, right? I'm being defriended, which means I'm being dissed. Recently, an adult, because I didn't realize the impact this has on adults, right? An adult defriended another adult, and she burned down her house. I mean, crazy stuff, right? The point of this is that there's something very primal, really like in our DNA, about this issue of respect and how important it is. So, being dissed. It took me a while to really get that, right? Being dissed, and what does that mean? What I need for you to get is that people kill each other over the issue of being dissed, right? We have our colors, we have our turf, right? And if that's disrespected, I'm just going to kill you. You got to get that, like, countries go to war over this. There are some people out there, and I used to have this wonderful slide, I can't find it anymore, but I think it was on like one of those overhead transparencies, right, back in the day. But it said the Functional Family Therapy Conference, and there were like 2 people in the audience. We all have dysfunction in our families, right? Really, I get that, okay? So here's the way it goes, right? Is that great Aunt Susie got left off a birthday or bar mitzvah list by accident, probably, by somebody else, and she felt so disrespected that she never talked to this individual for the next 30 years. They actually never cleaned it up. My father and his brother had that kind of a situation. They didn't speak for 40 years. I never met my only uncle or my cousins. He died. It was an issue out of my father feeling as though he had been disrespected. It's just extraordinary how long we hold these kinds of grudges. And one of the problems is that if we can't work it out with our family members, we certainly aren't going to be in a position where we say to our boss, hey, you know what, boss? You just did that, and I really feel disrespected by it. So what happens, we actually end up, right, feeling really resentful for a long period of time. Now,